Morning, sixth grade. Mr. Frank here. And let's get on to some more data and statistics. We are almost done, guys. We are almost there with data and statistics. Okay, today we're going to take what you've learned and we're going to really apply it. So you've learned how to find the mean, median, range. And now we're going to apply that into critical thinking of, well, what does that actually mean for like a store or a company or for the data we're looking at? And if you can see, got the quarantine beard all going. Still pretty bald up here, but yeah, quarantine beard. We'll see if it gets any longer. All right, anyway, enough about me. Let's get to our objective today. Our objective is what do measures of center and variability indicate about a data set? Well, of course, indicate means to know about a data set. So just like what I said, we're taking measures of center and we are going to see how that makes us think about a data set. Okay, so our first problem here, let's go and let's get it. Julie is collecting data on her favorite sports teams for a report. The table, this one over here that's behind everything, the table shows the median and the interquartile range of the heights of the players of her favorite baseball and basketball teams. How do the heights of the two teams compare? So this is actually asking me how do the heights of the two teams compare? Okay, so that's what I gotta answer. So let's get my ugly mug out of the way, and let's take a look at our baseball teams. So luckily on this one, we don't have to do like really any math. This is just totally critical thinking because it gives us everything. So we see that the baseball team's median is 70 inches. And remember, these are the team's heights. Basketball team's is 78 inches. Okay, so which median is larger? Okay. The basketball team. So the middle number is larger, right? So that would mean that I'm critically thinking this, I'm comparing it. Which team has higher players, taller players? Well, that'd be the basketball team because their median is higher. Who has shorter players? Okay, it'd be the baseball team because their median is lower. Cool. There's one way to compare the teams. All right, let's think about interquartile range. So what does range mean again? It's the biggest number, smallest number, subtracted. So it basically tells us the variation, how much difference there are in the data set. So our interquartile range for the basketball is 4 inches. Our interquartile range for the baseball is 6 inches. So which number is bigger? Well, the baseball one. So that means the baseball players have more variation in range, which means that they have different heights. That the basketball players team, their heights are a lot closer together. And the baseball players team, they have a lot more shorter and taller people than the basketball team. So more variation. Okay, so that's how we'd answer that. Really no math in that problem. This one, there's a little bit of math. All right, so we have Camera and Joey sold t-shirts during lunch to raise money for a charity. They have their little t-shirt company. The table is this one right here. Well, what did I press? Nope. Not this one right here. This one right here. This table shows the number of t-shirts each student sold each day for the 2 weeks. So each number is a day and some t-shirts. Find the mean and range of these data sets and use these to compare the data. Okay, so I'm going to take a snapshot here so we can actually do this. Okay, so remember when we're finding the mean, and let's just look at Camara's data set here. When we're finding the mean, what do? You guys are probably experts at this by now. We've been doing it a lot. That's right. We're going to add them all together and divide by the sets we have. Okay, so I added them all together and I have 30. And how many sets do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 30 divided by 10, that equals 3, right? 10, 20, 30, yes. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Let's add up Joey's. Okay, also error alert. Go back here, our error alert. Make sure you include zeros when you count the total number of data values. So I'm going to say 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 13 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 0. So I added those zeros. Okay, and I get actually the same thing, 30. How many data sets do I have? Even though it's a 0, does it count as a piece of data? Yeah, so I'm going to include it. So I have the same numbers. I have 10, so I'm going to divide by 10. Okay, so what do we get? The mean is 3. Okay, so the mean of both is 3. So according to the mean, they sold relatively about the same number of shirts because they have the same mean. Even though the data looks really different, since the mean is the same, relatively, they sold the same number of shirts. However, there is some variation. And we can find the variation by using range. Range is going to tell us the variation or how much different the data is. So let's figure out the range. And you guys remember range is our biggest number, which looks like a 5, minus the smallest number, which is a 1. 5, that would get a 4. Our smallest number here is, of course, 0. Our largest number is 13. So 0. So take 0 away, or 13. Take 0, take nothing away from 13, and we get 13. So our range is really different in this data set, right? Joey is selling the same amount because his mean was 3, but he's selling different numbers on different days, right? Different shirts. Some days he's not getting any sales, and this day, whoa, he had a whole bunch of sales. While this one of 4, she's getting relatively about the same on each day, as we see 5, 5, 4, 4, 4. So even though they sold the same amount of shirts, and we can see that we figured out the mean was 3, Joey had a lot of different variation. He sold more shirts on some days than he did other days. All right, guys, that is all we're doing with the data today, is we're just solving some of the middle numbers or measurements of centers, and then we're using that to think about what that means for the data. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Any questions? You guys have been really good about reaching out to me. Keep reaching out to me. I'm happy to help you with this stuff, and very impressed with you guys. You guys have been doing a great job on your schoolwork. Keep it going. Proud of you guys, and we will be seeing you later. Thanks for joining me today.